that should be it as far as announcements go. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you enjoy this. Take time to talk with other coaches when you have a chance, visit the vendors, and enjoy the great lineup of speakers we have. With that, with no further ado, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Joey Hawkins from Missouri State University. Joey Hawkins was named Missouri State's third head baseball coach on June 4th, 2024. Coach Hawkins played shortstop for the Bears from 2012 to 2015 and was the team captain his final 2 seasons. He returned to his alma mater as the hitting coach in 2021, and he was promoted to the associate head coach 1 year later. In the 3 seasons since Hawkins took over as hitting coach, the Bears ranked 13th nationally with 313 home runs, including 3 of the top 7 single-season totals in program history, and the number 4 and number 6 seasons in the Missouri Valley Conference history. The Bears have led the Valley in home runs in all 3 seasons of Coach being on staff. Hawkins has mentored 8 players to a total of 10 all MVC selections. A fan favorite during his time at Missouri State as a player, Hawkins spent 4 seasons with the Bears from 2012 to 2015 and was the MVC Defensive Player of the Year as a senior. He owns the top 2 single seasons in school history for sacrifice bunts and assists. He holds MSU's career sacrifice record with 62 and led the NCAA in that category during the Bears' historic 2015 campaign that saw the team earn the number 8 national seed and win the Springfield Regional all the way to a school record 49 victories. He started the final 157 games of his MSU career at shortstop. After college, Hawkins was drafted by St. Louis in the 40th round and spent 2 years playing professionally, advancing to the AA Springfield Cardinals in 2016. He was also drafted out of high school from Whitby, Ontario. Hawkins began his collegiate coaching career in 2017 as the recruiting coordinator and hitting coach at Jefferson College in Hillsborough, Missouri, and joined the Division I ranks at St. Louis University later that year in the same capacity. During the 2018 season at SLU, Hawkins was an instrumental part of the Billikens club that swept the Atlantic 10 regular season and tournament titles and advanced to the NCAA tournament. Hawkins returned to professional baseball in the St. Louis Cardinals organization in 2019, beginning as the hitting coach in the Gulf Coast League, worked as a hitting coordinator at the Cardinals' alternate site facility in 2020 with some of the organization's top prospects, and served as hitting coach for the High A Peoria Chiefs to start the 2021 season. Please welcome Joey Hawkins.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you guys having me out. Thanks to Brian Harmon, Coach Perkins for reaching out to me and our program to get involved with this. Like you heard, I took over third head coach in program history. So I'm sure everybody in here knows Coach Gutton. 42 years as our head coach, remarkable career. Very fortunate to spend time with him. And we had spoke the last couple years about this is an event that our program needs to get more involved in. We've had an amazing program for a long time, tons of great players from Missouri. So we need to get up here, we need to be involved, we need to help learn. Because again, for me, coaching community, it's our responsibility to grow the game. Whether in high school, youth, Division I, JUCO, it's our job. We're all here to learn, all right? So for me, getting the opportunity to get up here and talk, really important as the Missouri State University in the state. I will say though, Coach Gutton always had a favorite, and one of my favorite quotes when we would recruit players and we'd get them on campus, he'd always, if we had a player that was maybe a little less academically, he'd always say, you know, it wasn't between Missouri State and Harvard, okay? So if you're going through my PowerPoint today and you see any mistakes, it was not between Missouri State and Harvard for me. All right, I had to get back into my academic world and make this PowerPoint. But again, today I'm going to talk about program building, digging into culture a little bit. I know that's a buzzword around coaching, but this is something that excites me, obviously. First year head coach. We got a lot going on in our program, what we're trying to get going with. But first, I want to kind of go through my background from Toronto, Ontario. Okay, so I'm not from Missouri, all right, but I've made Missouri home. I played at Missouri State for 4 years. Amazing experience there. Was drafted twice in rounds that don't exist anymore. All right, 42nd rounder and 40th rounder, not even a thing. So a lot of people probably don't even believe me when I tell them that. Played professionally with the Cardinals, and I can promise you, if you think I'm a good coach because I was a good player, completely wrong. Don't check my stats. Terrible professional player, but man, what a great experience. So I get released. I need a job. This is a game about connections and relationships. Chris Craddock, running the Missouri Gators, Missouri State alum. Coach Gutton makes a call. Get the opportunity to coach a 16U team, travel baseball. All right. At the same time, I'm double dipping as Jeff Coe's recruiting coordinator, making no money, but great opportunity. I'm out and about on the the travel circuit. I'm meeting people. I'm learning how to evaluate players. It was awesome. Don't even coach one game at Jeff Coe. Fortunate enough, again, relationships. I'm out hustling. I get hired at St. Louis University for Darren Hendrickson. Was the first paid assistant on Darren's staff that didn't play for him in his career. So super unique perspective for me to get involved in. Had a great experience there. Go back to the St. Louis Cardinals, minor league hitting coach and coordinator, and I'll touch on some of my experiences there. From there, go back to my alma mater, special place for me, associate head coach, recruiting coordinator, get to work under G again, great opportunity, and here we are today, I'm the head coach. So that's kind of been my ascent, and you're probably wondering why should you listen to me about program building? I have 0 wins under my belt, right? I'm kicking off this event talking about this topic, and I haven't even coached a game as a head coach yet. But I think that's what makes my presentation a little fun today. All right, I am in the same boat as you guys. All right, if you're a head coach running a program, if you're a hitting coach, it's running your hitters, or pitching coach running a pitching program. It's our responsibility to lead. All right, so for me, mine's been built. My philosophy, my coaching style has been built through experiences. I'll touch on a few of them here. So a big one for me, I played on one of the worst Missouri State University teams in history, 2014. We were terrible. All right, we hit maybe 12 home runs that year, which is embarrassing. We beat nobody. We were flat. Nothing good going on in the program. You turn around the next year, virtually the same roster. Granted, we added a freshman, Jake Berger, who's in the big leagues now as a first rounder, so yes, he was good, but virtually the same roster. And we are arguably the best team in Missouri State history. Most wins in school history, 49 wins, 1 win from Omaha. What an experience for me. I experienced the low and the high, everything in between, and I saw it flip. Super special for me in my coaching career. After that, drafted and signed, and like I said, terrible player. Great experience for me now. I was the worst player on the roster in professional baseball player. We all got them. There's the bottom of your roster every year, no matter how good your program is, that player matters. I got to experience what that felt like. So that was a huge impact on how I coach those players now, because I was that guy. And then I experienced transitioning out of playing. This is big, all right? If you're a high school coach, you're gonna have some kids that transition out of playing after JV, or they're thinking about it. And you're gonna have kids that have a great high school career, but you know what, I don't wanna play in college. Coaching those kids are a little different. We have kids in our program right now, they're probably not gonna get drafted. How do you motivate those players, right? And that was something that I faced. I had to transition, I had to give the game up at some point. So like I said, I joined the SLU coaching staff, and I was someone that did not know what SLU baseball was about. But this gave me an opportunity to bring fresh ideas, fresh perspectives to a program that had success, right? That's challenging. You have success, things are going the right direction. Offering advice and ideas, if you're an assistant coach, can feel a little awkward at times, all right? But it made me be prepared. It made me trust my instincts. It made me develop ideas that I think can help us win games, and that's what we did. We won regular season, conference tournament, went to a regional, amazing year. From there, get the opportunity to go back to the Cardinals, an organization I'm very familiar with. And I'm sure we have a lot of Cardinals fans in here. So for a while there was a stretch where that organization was not developing hitters at a very high rate. You saw a lot of pitchers going to the big leagues and having success. Hitters, not so much, okay? So we're brought in. we got to rebuild this thing. Okay, we got to figure out a new development system, new philosophy. We got to break old ideas, break old mindsets. What a great opportunity. Also, at the same time, we all dealt coaching in COVID, which was super unique. I had to go to the taxi squad, live in a bubble, and coach these top prospects, coach players from AAA that are older than me. Crazy experience, all right? But what I learned was we played no one outside of the bubble. We played each other every day. You want to talk about creating an environment that's competitive, but it's also repetitive, really challenging. Great opportunity as a young coach. And then I joined Missouri State staff after one of the worst offensive seasons in school history. We turn around the next year, have one of the best offensive seasons in school history. So as you can tell, with my experiences here, I've faced a lot of lows, a lot of highs, and been involved in transition. And I think that's a big part of our job as coaches. You're gonna face things where you gotta flip the script. And it's really, really challenging sometimes. So I'm gonna dig in to my journey right now as head coach in our program. You can see here, June 4th, it was time to go, right? Here's the keys, go ahead. A lot of people from the outside looking in probably thought, Coach Gutton's built a great program, like, just follow that. It wasn't that easy. I felt a lot of pressure that I had to put my twist on it. All right, the players started looking at me, what's gonna be different? How are we gonna take this program forward? So again, my goal today with you guys is to just try and share how my experience is and where I'm at, and I haven't coached a game yet, and how I'm sitting in a chair very similar to you guys. So here's a quick video that I think is important for all of us.
Sometimes you hear coaches brag about, I got 25 years experience, but if they never learned or they never grew, they got 1 year experience repeated 20-some times. And I'm a better coach now than I was a year ago. I'm a better coach now than I was 20 years ago. I'll be a better coach next week than I am today.
So this is Rich Rodriguez, new head football coach at West Virginia, and he's talking about, he's in his 60s, and he had already coached at West Virginia in his career, and he's talking about the importance of constantly learning. You can't be the same coach you were last year or yesterday, okay? And that was a good, friendly reminder for me, despite my experiences where I've coached major league players at a young age. I've seen how to keep learning. That's why everyone's in this room today. So, again, my challenge to you guys at these events, I went to ABCA this year, I came back, juice is flowing, ready to go, because I felt like I learned some new ideas. So, again, that's kind of my goal today for you guys as we go through this. Can you, sorry, clicker didn't work there. So again, I'm gonna try and help give you a little bit of a blueprint on how we did some things this year in our staff and our program. So really it starts with purpose, right? What are we building? How are we gonna build it? And why are we building it? And those three questions are really important. Here's why. Players ask more questions than ever now, and they can find answers wherever they want. That's something you gotta remember. Man, they got those phones in their hands. They can go get answers from anyone at any time, okay? So we were trying to build a system where it was bulletproof. Our guys trusted us, all right? And we were looking at things more than just baseball. So this is gonna be extremely challenging for you to understand, and this was really hard for me. What are we building? But you gotta scratch out we and think about me for a second, okay? You're the head coach, you're the pitching coach, you're the hitting coach. That's your area, okay? Like, you are in charge of it. This is your program first, okay? And what do you want to represent and produce both short-term and long-term, okay? If someone came up, watched your practice tomorrow, right? What's your practice representing? What are you building? And then if you looked over a 3-year span, you look back, what's Missouri State baseball about? Right, that's kind of how we started looking at things in terms of what are we building at Missouri State. So for us, as a staff, what we came up with that was important, again, I've talked about Coach Gutton. I get the keys to an extremely successful tradition program, the standard. Okay, this is what we're about this year. There's a standard in our program, and I love this quote from PJ Fleck, the head football coach at Minnesota. All right. As the head coach, I am the standard, I set the bar. Can never forget that. And that, goes for pitching coaches and hitting coaches too. Your guys are watching you. Their eyes are always on you. We talked about this with our team a couple days ago. There's trap games, right? There's trap weeks. Losing to a team that you should beat. Those are trap games, okay? They're gonna look at you first. Your body language, your energy, how you're going about things, how you're planning things. They are looking for you to break, all right? And so it starts at the top. You are the standard of everything. Underneath the standard, for us, we really tried to, again, look at things outside of baseball. We know we can teach baseball. We're good at it. That's why I hired these assistant coaches. You're gonna hear our pitching coach come up next. Extremely bright when it comes to pitching. But we gotta build outside of that area. So we looked at self-leadership, accountability, and finding excellence in every area. So self-leadership, right? We're trying to teach these things, most importantly, to our staff, but also players, right? So we put this quote up, first team meeting of the year. The edge is where average stops and elite begins. I love that quote, because again, we're a mid-major program. We're not in the SEC. We're not in the Big 12. We got to find an edge. We got to find an edge with our budget. We got to find an edge with our facilities. Got to find an edge with our practice planning. But most importantly, we got to find an edge for our players. Okay? How are we going to do that? How can we get 30 players with an edge that lets them blow past some potential? You do that, you're going to have a great ball club. So, again, I'm up here rambling. You can imagine what our players think, right? I'm up there every day talking to these guys. One thing I've learned is we've tried to always give different voices. So I try and give our assistant coaches a lot of autonomy to get out there and speak in front of our group, so it's not just me every day. We try and bring some outside people in. So Mike Matheny, huge mentor to me, who played in the big leagues forever as a catcher, Gold Glove winner, managed Kansas City Royals, St. Louis Cardinals, managed in the postseason, unbelievable human being. He came and spoke to our guys. He talked about edges, right? So I'm thinking, this is great. I already had an Urban Meyer quote up there, so I'm rolling here. He's matching what I want. And he talked about basically 5 words here, okay? And I think this is important. You're going to hear me talk about this a couple times throughout this presentation. Try and define things as much as you can for your players, okay? They're always looking for an answer, and when you can give structure and reasoning behind things, they tend to grasp it more. So Mike described edges as education, discipline, grit, energy, selflessness. Why this is important for me as the head coach is if we want a guy to have an edge, in my opinion, players can grab at least one of these things, and that will give them an edge. All right, so again, this was huge. This was defining something we were trying to do. Next was accountability, all right? Look, we all got team rules. I'm not gonna list ours, all right? You don't need to know ours. You guys got your own. But what's important here is, again, the definition. So, do we have team rules? Of course, right? But we defined it. It's do the right thing at the right time. You are in study hall, do the right thing at the right time. Don't watch Monday Night Football like our freshmen did and got in trouble this fall, okay? You're out socially, do the right thing at the right time. Make the right decision, okay? Rules at the facility, in the locker room, all right? Do the right thing at the right time. But again, going back to accountability, also defining what is accountability. Again, they're looking for answers, right? So for us, it's how you work, okay? It's easy to work when Deck McGuire's on the mound with one of our pitchers. Not easy to work when you're throwing a bullpen on Thanksgiving or Christmas break, right? College baseball has one of the weirdest schedules ever. Train guys all the way to Thanksgiving, and then it's like, see you later for 8 weeks. You want to talk about accountability, you better have accountability in your program if you want to have a good team come January, all right? And then the other side of it is accountability in environments you don't enjoy. This is something we really preached a ton. We put guys in tough environments. You hear being uncomfortable, all those things. Got to have accountability in those areas. Lastly, excellence in everything. So one thing we talk about a lot, how you do anything is how you do everything. It's the classroom, it's the community, socially, okay? How you do one thing is really gonna represent that name on the back of your jersey, and then that bears across our jersey. And then the second piece of excellence in everything, and we say this a ton, it takes what it takes. We wanna go to Omaha, there's a gap for Missouri State baseball to go to Omaha, and it is going to take what it's gonna take. and you better be ready to put in the work. All right, and excellence is what we need, okay? And it's the best reminder you can give guys at any level. There's always a gap. A gap for individual players and a gap for teams. All right, the best players and best teams close the gap. So, here's the flip side of it. We talk about those three things, we better back it up. Okay, you can't just stand in front of your group, first team meeting, and expect your players to go do it. So, for us, if you came in a staff meeting, I can promise you, there's one thing I harp on our assistants about and our staff, our support staff, structure. We are detailed as it gets. Here's a practice schedule, okay? It's got everything from notes at the top, academics, what's going on, community, all the way down to the minute of practice, what kind of fastball machine you're facing, who's base running when, hitting groups, you name it. That allows you to hold players accountable, to expect excellence, all right, to create self-leadership, all those things I talked about. All right, we let our guys plan their week out. We give them a schedule every Sunday. Here's everything that's going on. You got a date on Wednesday? Well, at least you know what's going on baseball-wise now, right? You can plan your life, you can plan your academics, you can give them structure, and this is where guys thrive. Lifting groups to the T by the hour, who we're putting with who, everything. Our game day schedule. Lineup, where and when you're eating, what time you're hitting, what time you're on the bus, who's a lefty on the bench, who's a righty, who's on the bucket as a pitcher, every single detail. We're backing it up as a staff if that's what we're trying to create inside our standard in Missouri State baseball. If you want these, quick break in action, you can email me, email our baseball program, hit me up on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. But I'm happy to give these out. All right, they're cool templates. Our players love them. All our players talk about it all the time. Anytime we bring a recruit in, they talk to our players. One thing they love, hey, we love the structure, man. You're always going to have a schedule. You're always going to know what you're doing. We're never blindsiding our guys. All right, so obviously that plan looks pretty dialed in, a lot of details. Probably the most talked about, discussed topic in coaching, in my opinion, is you see all these systems put out, pitching systems, hitting systems, program building. You don't hear a ton about the failures, right? You got to read the room, man. That's like a massive, massive thing in coaching. You got to know your group, okay? So for us, we got through the fall. All right, let's check the temperature on this team. Where are we at? We weren't tough enough. All right, as cool as our system was, the standard, we weren't tough, okay? We lacked an identity. We weren't very disciplined when it came to things. And honestly, I didn't think guys understood Bears tradition very well. It's all right, okay? It's October. Let's get to work. Let's figure this thing out. So, again, game of adjustments, right? Hear that all the time. How are we going to adjust this thing? So, toughness. Deck McGuire's going to laugh at this, our pitching coach. Boy, were we under-conditioned. So we started running. All right, we ran, we put them in tough situations. Next thing you know, it's creating toughness. Man, our guys are tough right now. If you asked them right now what post-fall ball till Thanksgiving looked like, they were hurting, but they were ready, man. They knew what came. All right, so that allowed us to get tough. 03 Red Sox documentary, it's on Netflix. We had our guys watch it. Take notes, get in small groups. All right, they learned what identity was. If you watch that 03 Red Sox team, man, that team had an identity. It was awesome. So we put our guys in small groups, we talked about it. Those turned into leadership groups. We met every week, okay? Next thing you know, you start hearing the conversation of what discipline is, what accountability is, what leadership is. It was amazing to see. You saw freshmen speaking up, getting comfortable. All right, and then last but not least, the Bears tradition. We brought back alums. We had guys talk about what our program's been about so they can learn about it. What experience did those guys have? That was pretty cool for our players. Our biggest adjustment, number one challenge if you're coaching right now, the phones. So, We buy our guys new leather couches in the locker room. I'm fired up about it. They look sweet. I walk through that locker room every day to get to my office. Every day, 8 guys on the couch, 8 guys scrolling. It drove me nuts. All right, I'm a young coach, but it drove me nuts. I couldn't stand it. If there's one thing that I want back from playing, I don't want the at-bats. I don't want to hit anymore, man. That stuff's hard. I want to sit in the locker room with my boys, right? So, okay, how are we going to handle this? We got to meet them in the middle. What are we going to do? Okay? And when you make a decision like this, when you make decisions in your program, one thing I learned from someone, you're always going to consider as a leader who's going to be happy, who's going to be mad, who's going to be sad. It's the reality of it. When you think about these big things, I think about it all the time. Who's going to be pissed off about this thing I do, right? All right, so I thought about that for a while, and then I was like, you know what, I don't care. This is my program. I don't want phones on those couches anymore. So we said, let's meet them in the middle. We want guys to interact more. We want guys to be with each other more. We want guys to enjoy this place. Let's give them things. Cards, concentration grids, chess, put a PS5 and an Xbox in there. Next thing you know, they're hooting and hollering. They're competing every day, and there's no phones. We caught 2 guys with phones, hour of study hall. All right? There's an expectation now, excellence in everything. You don't need your phone in the locker room. I told him, you want your phone, go back to your apartment and scroll. I don't care, I'm not gonna come over there. All right, but you're not gonna scroll on that couch. All right, but it's been a huge change of pace for our locker room, okay? Guys come and they talk ball way more, they're competing. It's been really, really cool. All right, so as we go through this thing, and again, I'm in this with you guys, right? You guys are building your programs. I'm building mine. Things I got to keep reminding myself of. Huge mistake in my coaching career. Last year, spent a ton of time trying to compare and be other programs, okay? I want you guys to take stuff from this today, but it's your program, all right? Don't make your program Missouri State, okay? You put your twist on it. And this quote, we showed our team this, and I explained to our team that this was something I messed up as a leader last year. Comparison is the thief of joy, okay? You're gonna get way more joy out of making decisions and making your own thing in your program, and when it starts paying off, that's what it's about, okay? And again, it was a big mistake of ours, and we've done a great job shifting out of it, but this is always a great reminder.
I love to hear coaches resist the responsibility of coaching.
What'd you say, Coach? What'd you just say, Coach?
I love coaches that resist the responsibility of coaches, that talk negatively about a dude that can't learn and blah, blah. Man, if everybody could learn, we'd need less coaches.
Yeah, that's real.
Right? If the group didn't need management, then we wouldn't make as much.
Yep.
I love reading draft evals and somebody's talking about anything other than pedigree, talking about how poor somebody's hand usage is. Well, that's coaching. I don't run away from coaching. I run to coaching.
Love it.
It all is in line with that not seeking comfort, because when you're a coach that's talking about somebody can't learn, you're seeking comfort because your teaching is struggling.
Yep.
Awesome video. And I always got to remind myself that. Again, I was the last player on the roster in pro ball, okay? You got to want to coach that guy. We all got him, all right? Those tough days, all right? We know it's a trap practice, trap game. You got to want that, all right? You can't run away from it. And I just think it's a powerful video because it's our responsibility, all right? Our responsibility as coaches is to serve every single person in your program. And that's something that I got to constantly remind myself about. Do some pitchers bother me some days? Damn right they do, all right? But I'm not going to stop coaching them, okay? Do some pitchers bother Deck? Yep, but I'm not going to stop encouraging him to coach them, okay? And it's a powerful lesson. So you get a look at this here. This is 99 with a little run and a little shadows, okay? Next video.
miles an hour.
Here's 97,
Miles an hour.
18 inches of run, right off the
Miles
black.
an hour. Miles an hour.
I got to remind myself how hard this game is. Okay? No matter the level you play at, you coach at, this game's hard. All right? That's where we want to go. We want to play in that stadium against those teams. As I train our guys, as our staff puts together practice plans, all right, and we beat their doors in with training and we make it tough on them, I got to sit back at the end of the day when we got to deal with a little bad body language and some frustration and remember how hard this game is and how hard it is if you want to be at the top of your level. It's extremely challenging. So again, healthy reminders. Don't spend too much time comparing. It's a waste of energy. Build your program. Focus on that. You'll get a ton of joy out of it. Don't spend too much time hating players, okay? And the Mike Tomlin video is a perfect example of it. But honestly, where it really hit home for me was when I was in professional baseball and you got to talk about releasing players and you got to get reports from scouts and their opinions. The worst scouts and the worst coaches to deal with were the ones that hated every player. Like there are stories out there of scouts that did not like Mike Trout in high school, right? Those guys, you're just spending too much time thinking about what a player can't be. Focus on what they can be. There's going to be a ceiling, and I tell our players all the time, we don't believe in those ceilings, okay? Again, don't run away from those coaching opportunities. I think those two things go hand in hand, and remember how hard the game is. It's extremely tough. So, Missouri State Baseball. National League MVP, Rookie of the Year, Ryan Howard. American League batting champion, Billy Miller. American League home run champ, Luke Voigt. Anybody know what's in common with these guys? They played at Missouri State, yeah. Anything else?
Not drafted out of high school?
Nope, one was. They all went to high school in Missouri. That's right. They all went to high school in Missouri. They're homegrown. This is what this program's about. This is why it meant a lot for me in my first year to get here, okay? There's a ton of great players in this state. We've had them for a really, really long time. We've had 6 first-round picks, 3 from Missouri, 23 Major League players, 15 from Missouri. 137 all-time draft picks, 46 All-Americans, 3 Super Regionals, 2003 College World Series. We tell guys all the time when we recruit them, when they're in our program, you can do anything in this program, okay? You can do anything, you can believe it, you can dream it, and you can do it. So, as you're building your program, all right, again, everyone's situation's different. I'm fortunate that I took over a program with a ton of history and tradition, and what I tell everybody is you can't buy it. Okay, you got to build it, you got to earn it, most importantly, uphold it. So if you have it right now, this is big for you. If you don't have it right now and you build it and you earn those things, make sure whoever's in that program upholds it, right? For us, it's the standard of Missouri State Baseball. Again, that comes because I care about what came before us. So, as we're in January, freezing cold today, 50 next week. I'm really good at watching the weather. So, season's right around the corner. I hope you guys start your season with a bang. Caden Bogenpool, Jackson, Missouri, 20 pumps last year. Gonna have a big year for us. Again, we are a homegrown program with a ton of great players from Missouri. This is my pitch. We want all your players, okay? So we get first dibs on it. Brett Graves, don't tell any of the Missouri coaches later, right? But no, I appreciate you guys having me here. I hope you guys learned something. How much time do I have left? 10 minutes? Okay, so I'm gonna take some questions for 10 minutes. I could have came up here and talked hitting. If you heard in the beginning, we've hit 300 home runs. We do other things too, believe it or not. We hit a lot of home runs. We run a great offense. Deck can talk about pitching. We've had defensive player of the years. I led the world in bunting. We don't bunt a ton anymore, but I can answer any question on baseball now or program building. You got 10 minutes, and I'm all ears for you guys. Appreciate everyone listening and hearing me ramble. Questions? Yes, sir. You want the mic?
No, that's okay.
You got the coaching voice.
loud,
You got the
yeah.
coaching voice.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
So I actually work for ESPN out there for you guys. So
Nice.
I work your games all the time. I was talking to Zach after.
Don't put the camera on me when I'm yelling at umpires.
Oh, I had a few of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
But when I was talking to Zach, he was telling me you guys work with a mental performance coach for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Since he's come in, what's been the biggest mental performance lesson that he taught you guys that has had the biggest impact?
Yeah, so the question was, we work with a mental skills coach from the Texas Rangers, David Franco, okay? And what's the most valuable thing or most impactful thing he's brought to our program? Hands down, the funnel, okay? We got a pitch clock in college baseball now, 20 seconds between pitches, all right? Regardless if you have one or not, there is time between each pitch. What you do with that time is the line of scrimmage, all right? So, pitch is thrown, someone's getting a mental advantage before the next pitch. Okay? No matter what. Whether it's 51% to 49%, someone's getting the edge. Okay? So for us, we have a funnel. The top of your funnel, the beginning of the 20 seconds, you're allowed to have those random thoughts. Why did I chase that pitch? You know, why is the dugout yelling at me? But as that funnel dwindles down, all right, we break it down, and everyone's a little different. You know, plan, approach, one word, and go. Right? So for example, I'm facing a right-hander. He's 90-92. He's got a good slider. I just chased the slider. All right, I got that out of my head. Next thing I'm going, see the slider up, hammer the fastball through right center. My last word is hunt the middle, or whatever, my last sentence, okay? And it creates a really clear mind and approach. Pitchers, same thing, right? Same thing. Whether it's a glove target, anything, you're allowed to have some thoughts at the beginning, but you better dwindle them down. If not, it's going to get messy up top. Good question. Next question. I'm hitting leadoff, so everyone's scared to ask questions. I can talk hitting, fielding, anything. Yeah.
If you want, I can take that one.
Sure. Yeah.
Where we at?
So what's your approach to the folks who aren't going to the next level? How do you keep them motivated? You know, you have that level that's going, you know it, they know it, just that bottom level.
Yeah.
How do you keep them going?
Yeah, great question. So where I experienced it first, honestly, was coaching at St. Louis University, right? More of an academic institution. A lot of those kids, they for sure picked it because of baseball, but also because of the degree that came with it. But man, the biggest thing is you better give them something to grab onto other than just on-field results, right? Like make them care about being a part of building tradition and history, building the program, but most importantly, like winning is valuable in life, right? So teaching them just, if we win, we have a good process behind things, this will help you with whatever's next. And I know that sounds simple, but it's just driving it every day and getting them away from focusing on the draft or whatever, because that might not be something they want. But I think when kids, when they move on from it and they look back, to be able to say like, man, I was a part of that, whatever it is, right? If it was winning, great. If it was playing on a losing team, but that program took a step forward with culture, great. But you got to find a way to frame it in a little bit different way, and you got to motivate them on a daily basis.
Coach, what's your encouragement to the high school player with the recruiting goalposts changing nearly daily? NIL, portal, log-jammed rosters, and the like. What would you say to the high school player trying to play in college?
Number one, I mean, go where people care about you. I say this to recruits all the time. There is a very clear difference between being recruited and being wanted. Okay, go somewhere you're wanted. Go somewhere where you can play and develop and you see an opportunity and a path. And I strongly encourage kids, and I love kids that do this, ask tough questions. If the portal's on your mind as a recruit, right, and that's going to impact your decision, and you don't feel comfortable asking the head coach or the recruiting coordinator that question, how are you going to go on that campus, be a student athlete, and ask them a hard question once you're there, right? Be upfront, ask them, what's your plan with the portal? How are you going to use it? How are you going to use high school recruiting? Okay? Because I've prepared our staff. We have an answer. We know what we're doing. okay? And if you get a wishy-washy answer, that's going to tell you a lot. It's going to tell you a lot about what you're getting into. And at the end of the day, you know, I tell parents this all the time, it's your kid that's walking through the doors every day and dealing with us and being in our program, not the parent. So you better enjoy the people that you're around.
How much time do you spend on training your kids with the funnel?
I would say a good amount. Probably let them fail first. You know what I mean? Let them, this sounds bad, but like get a little domed up first to where you can coach them out of it. So they can see what bad looks like, teach them what good looks like, and we write it down. So all our pitchers and hitters have it written down. We discussed it in those leadership groups. Each pitcher and hitter have a binder where we go through leadership things, notes, team meetings, bump plays, you name it. And then their funnels right there in the forefront of it. Funnels can change. Funnels can adapt. Funnels can grow. But quite a bit. It's discussed quite a bit. And, you know, I think pitchers can definitely utilize it in their bullpens. Hitters, we do a little bit of, in training, we make it more of a 5-second funnel, right? So you get fisted on a fastball machine. Hey, you got 5 seconds to reset, collect your thoughts, and be ready to get on time for the next one.
A lot of variables to the question, but just in general, how often do you like your hitters to sit on a specific pitch versus having more like of a broad timing and approach?
Yeah, we again, if you heard me during my presentation, I really like defining things. So I still run the hitters and lead the hitters. So we have about 3 approaches in our program. We have one approach that allows them to sit. Okay, our most common approach is we're on the fastball. Okay, look, today's world, they throw more breaking balls than ever and they throw harder than ever. Terrible combination if you're a hitter. But how I always try and look at things is, hey, you got a starter that's going to throw 100 pitches. He's a 50% fastball guy. That's 50 fastball opportunities. All right, and if we dominate his fastball, we just got to get our swing off on time on that heater 6-7 times, right? And we're putting balls in the gap and over the fence, and that guy's probably out of the game. You got a guy that spins the ball a lot, I give our hitters the choice. We got some hitters that hate sitting on pitches. They're just like, hey, I'm just sitting in the middle and reacting. So case by case, pitcher will tell you a lot, and your hitter, man, encourage them to communicate, don't force them.
Anybody else?
Good. All right, thanks, guys. Good luck this season.
I'm starting to pull raffle items. I gave 8 things away, so if you haven't got your raffle tickets, make sure you get it done. I know we gave away one set of 48 hats, and I'm doing that 3 times, so that's a big one. We got tickets to the Cardinal game, we got tickets to the Royals games, we got fungos, and all kinds of stuff.